The poor 11-year-old girl's own mum and mum's boyfriend beat her with such force and ferocity that her bowel exploded against her own spine. Heaven was a child who should have been protected. Instead, she was trapped in a living nightmare orchestrated by the two people responsible for her safety, her mum, Latoya Smith, and her mum's boyfriend, Demont Harris. The medical examiner's report reads like a catalogue of horrors. When Heaven's body was finally recovered, it wasn't just the unresponsive state her mother reported to 911. It was a map of unimaginable pain. Heaven had been beaten with such ferocity and frequency that she suffered from internal bleeding, a ruptured small intestine, and blunt force trauma that covered nearly every inch of her small frame. The details of her final assault are harrowing. Investigators discovered that Heaven was beaten so severely that her internal organs essentially just shut down. The cause of death was peritonitis, a massive infection caused by the hole torn in her bowel from a strike so powerful it crushed her against her own spine. But the physical violence was only half of the horror. Heaven was subjected to a disciplinary regime that bordered on the medieval. She was forced to stand in stress positions for hours on end. If she collapsed from being exhausted, the beatings just intensified. She was lashed with belts and cords. She was kept in a state of constant, vibrating fear. What makes this case truly chilling is the premeditated silence. While Heaven was dying a slow, agonising death from her internal injuries, Smith and Harris didn't call for help. They watched her wither. They watched her abdomen swell from the infection. They waited. They only called emergency services once she was already cold. When police searched the home, they found the tools of her torment. They found a house that was clean on the surface but rotted at the core. In court, the prosecution described Heaven's life as a house of horrors. Her mum eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and Harris was convicted of first-degree murder, both receiving a life sentence. Heaven did not die quickly. She died in the dark, surrounded by the people who were supposed to love her, feeling every moment of her body breaking apart. She was just 11 years old. She had no voice in that house.